It is well. Thank you very much, Ahmed. Let me think another one, okay? You are a good night, brother.
All right.
So I think I have a charm on the line. Did I get you or did I lose? I think I have you here. Hello there.
Hello. Good evening.
Lady Charm. Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Well, I'm very well. Something is yesterday, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, right? I had this brunch time. I think it was 2 days ago. And then I just suddenly said, I said I will see everybody later in the evening. But then a moment later, I just said, no, I'm not seeing everybody later this evening. I will see you all tomorrow. So I'm taking a break. And somebody came and said, Mayegun, you are doing too much. You see, maybe you should just scrap this brunch time and give us the evening full loaded time. And I was like, you have no idea that the brunch time is to break it into two. I have so much to share that doing it at once in the evening is almost not enough. But yeah, I understand the concern of people, right? But yeah, apart from that, I'm fine. Very much well. So what did you see tonight?
Glad to hear that. I think I was on that brunch time as well, but maybe I left before you said you were not going to come back in the afternoon because I know I was back.
I didn't even say I won't come back. I just posted later that anyway, guys, I'm taking a break this evening. And then somebody now said, Mayegun, you need, it's like you need this rest. Just keep giving us one show every day and forget about this brunch time. I was like, I mean, thank you very much for feeling concerned, but listen, it has nothing to do with what do you call it, like having two programs in the day, because I am somebody that, you see, if I do something in the afternoon and I probably feel pretty much like engaged in the evening, I can cancel it and just tell everybody I'm sorry I'm not coming there tonight. But it has nothing to do with doing too much, because the concept of the brunch time and the evening time is to spread it into two, give more people opportunity to actually really have a chance of calling in and contributing. Or it seems like some people feels like it's too much.
You're doing too much.
Yeah, you need to slow down. I was like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, and I think originally the brunch time actually had a format where you would give some news and then we would do some reading, which we haven't done in a while. But I think today we started with Farotimi's book.
That could be us back reading again.
Yeah, and I hope that we will carry on reading, because I think the reading and gaining more knowledge and perspective and even history regarding where we are as a country.
Yes.
I think it's very necessary. So I mean, continue the good work that you do. A few things I wanted to touch on. Like it had to take Dele Farotimi to be incarcerated illegally, by this criminal judiciary once again, for people to have the spine to actually come out and say, okay, this is what has been going on, this is how rotten the judiciary is, these are the people who play the key part in the destruction of the judiciary and things like that.
That's right.
So it had to take someone of Dele Farotimi's standing to be able to get the ball rolling. And I don't know how anybody can come out and say something like, he's a criminal as well. Can you throw stones at a house?
I know.
Can somebody throw stones at a house, knowing fully well that the same stones can be aimed back at you? That doesn't make any kind of sense, right? So if you say he's a criminal, right? Afe Babalola and co could also throw the same stones at Dele Farotimi with receipts as well, right? So before you come out and you make those kind of salacious statements, why don't you, like the previous caller said, pick up the phone, call us and give us the receipts that you have before you start making those kind of stupid claims in platforms like that, because a lot of people can talk and they feel that nothing is going to happen to them, and that's majority of Nigerians just come out and say something, meanwhile you have no proof.
Like just make some random allegations that they don't have to prove, and when you ask them to, they will begin to say, but they are all the same. Just like some people will jump on this platform and say, oh, Obi and them, they are all the same. I said, no, hang on. The guys
I think that would be
that have stolen Nigeria dry. There are evidence of that. Now, you don't just
absolutely
come on and just throw it and say because he's an elite like them, then he's also a thief. You have to give us evidence, and this is why.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why so many people have been able to, if they have anything on name, at least that will be one of those that will actually share that on this platform. But don't make things up, because we are not making things up about these guys. Everything that we said about them already in the public, they can be verified. So if you have anything that we don't know, you should lead us somewhere to see that, so that we can say, oh yeah, it's true, it's like them. But there are those who just want us to take it that way. Just take it, Jare.
No, you can't. No, not in this day and age where we're trying to, especially on this particular platform, where the platform is not just for information, it's also record keeping. Do you understand? That's why it's called a diary, okay?
Yes.
So that people can actually go back and see, like, okay, get information about something, and really, kind of like, hear the conversation about something.
Make up stories. I did not come here to make up allegations. If that's what I have been doing, a lot of you probably won't be here, right?
Yeah.
Whatever I say could be libelous, it could be, defamatory if they are lies. But they are available records that others can verify and say, oh, it's true.
Exactly. So, and I also wanted to touch on the people, talking about, oh yeah, people are angry, and rightfully so, because the economy is for shit at the moment, right?
It's biting.
But it still comes down to what David is talking about, the judiciary. And again, I'll always be thankful for your platform, because of your platform, initially I would say the politics is the problem with the country. But it's clear that not only is the politics a problem, but the thing that gave it the wings that it has on, right, is the judiciary. Because we have a failed judiciary, that is why politicians can get away with what they can get away with. And that is why the so-called security people can act with impunity, because they are angry. Imagine if you were angry and you had a judiciary that would take you to task because you took out your anger on innocent people, and for that you will go to jail. Wouldn't you learn to contain such anger? Would you go out there and be angry randomly and beating people up and that? Because you do it because there's nothing at the other side of it. No one is going to take you to task. No lawyer is going to take you to court, and anything will come out of it, right? So part of the problem is, again, as Dele said, the judiciary has enabled the impunity with which the security forces act, because there's no repercussion, there's nobody holding them accountable and things like that, right? So it's not just being angry. I think we should always start telling ourselves the truth of where the problem is and where we need to start sorting it out. I'll always be, and I'll say it in this because it's a sarcastic way, that I'm grateful for Tinubu's government, because if this Tinubu's government did not happen, right, all the things that have been unearthed since Tinubu became president of Nigeria, well, maybe it would have eventually been unearthed over a long period. People like people like Afe Babalola will probably have died, and
very good people.
Exactly, and died as very great people with a so-called legacy, which they are not even entitled to, because their legacy is built on criminality, and so it's things like this that I'm grateful for Tinubu's government for, because it allows Nigerians to see exactly where their problems are and the people who need to be, taken held accountable for it. And for Peter Obi, I like Obi, I really do, right? But you see these things that he does, it gives me concern that he's not prepared to do what it takes to actually resolve the issues in Nigeria. And I said, you can't be a president. You can't desire to be a president, building your presidency on injustice. And there's so much injustice. Is he going to be talking about, judicial reforms from top to bottom? Is he going to, have the capacity to
judicial reform?
Exactly. Electoral reform, judicial reform. Those reforms that really matter, and don't talk to me about talking and turning night vigil into night sleep, or taking the country from consumption to production. When you have a rotten system that doesn't enable the right things to be done, but instead puts fear in the hearts of people, they don't have the capacity to do what is right. It's because of this impunity and the lack of judicial responsibility That's why we're here where we are. So if he's not going to be addressing those issues, and if people are, and again, I say this to say that if anybody is waiting for 2027, not this whole article, article, whatever, it's a bloody waste of time. It is a bloody waste of time. You should be talking about, all the things that we've uncovered now, how to ask for judicial reform, how to ask for election, and not just ask, demand it at this point in time. Otherwise,
to make sure we're just
wasting our time.
Yeah. Not only that justice must be done, it must be seen to be done. That's actually what will make it pretty much like a serious, thing. Anything below that is just a deceit.
And these are things that you need to be telling people. Otherwise, don't give me the illusion of that you know what you're going to do. You don't know what you're going to do if you're not talking about scrapping the whole judiciary from stop to go. Ask everyone who is there to go. Their services are no longer required. And start to think about how you need to fill that up. When you fill it up, you talk about the constitution, you talk about the electoral reforms and things like that. Then we can start talking about, production to consumption to production and all of that business.
You are a child.
Let me go.
Thank you
Other
very
people
much.
Can call in.
Again, okay. Thanks for stopping by, ma'am. And you have a very good evening, right? So did I get it? Okay. I think I have another caller there. Now, this is a quick reminder. We only have less than 20 minutes to go. We will likely still be able to take another 2, 3, or 4 calls if we manage the time very well. As for you that has been here all evening, remember, you need to actually like the broadcast to show that you have been part of this chat enough or long enough, okay? And then make sure you subscribe as well. Set your notification on. You don't want to miss the remainder part of the daily Farotimi's book reading, which we are going to do tomorrow. You don't want to miss that, do you? So if you haven't subscribed onto Mayegun's Diary Political, do it now, at least for the fact that you do not want to miss this. If you joined us this afternoon, you will know what I'm talking about. Here is a caller on the line. Hello. Did I get you? Or did I just lose you? I will just take another one. Yes, here. Hello there.
Hello, man.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good evening. How was your day?
Good evening, sir. Well, my day has been busy, as usual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm almost at the tail end of it anyway. So thanks so much for asking. How's your day?
Please recommend this your barber to most of us that don't have hair anymore. He did good job.
Tell me about. So you want? We can do hair transplant these days. You know that. I know you can have this. Oh, come on. Anyway, thank you, Baba.
We're too old for that. When you're in your 60s, hair transplant
don't work. Transplant, and you can look 40 again. Why not? You can easily just give you 20 years a look. Like reduce it.
Firewood.
I'm waiting for the time I'm going to be bored as well, because it's likely going to happen. It's just a matter of time,
Anyway,
it's been a busy day.
I can see. I saw your reading this afternoon while I was in the office doing some meetings. I was listening to it on my head. It's quite interesting, lovely. I'm waiting for the last part tomorrow.
We all are.
However, I'm going to say something very, very controversial today. Yeah.
As always, please go ahead.
Obi will never be president of Nigeria. For anybody waiting for Obi to be president of Nigeria, is wasting his time.
I mean, it's a long shot.
Obi reminds me of John the Baptist that was screaming in the wilderness. He's only there to make, like what you're doing now, Obi is there to make it bigger inside the political cycle, but in a subtle way. Obi coming out amplified what you're doing and other media like you are doing. Tinubu government coming in shows a rot in the system, just like your last caller said. It also begins to make young people begin to question, like we that in our 50s and 60s think that people like Arebaba Lola were like geniuses, like Falana were geniuses.
How come I read to a lot of people?
I read all this book. I wanted to be a lawyer. I couldn't pass it, but this guy just passed it. They were great. But now when you come to look at it, like, wait, you're actually better than these people. Just the system was already rigged against you. And That is why most people in Nigeria do Yahoo Yahoo, because the system is rigged against them. And if you do, somebody had the opportunity, they should go and listen to the book reading earlier. If not because Farotimi's mom was subsidizing his living, what would have happened to that man if he had changed his skill set to the negative side? People don't think about that. Nobody willing.
He repeatedly told us, what he didn't tell us was like, which I later grasped from that reading, was that his mom was not even living in Nigeria. Right?
Thank you.
So it was easier for his mom to be funding his lifestyle where money never became an issue for him or the motivating factor anymore. It was about that law, using the law and becoming a lawyer was his priority. So when he was offered huge amount of money at the time, it was not a motivation for him.
Thank you. And that is what I said the other day. If you remember when I called, I said we need to get to a point in society where our conscience overrides our stomach infrastructure. That is what people think, that he is rare. It's not that he's rare. He had a support system. It's like some of the things you do through Yoruba Nation. You send people money, you do things. You are removing people from the consciousness of thinking, you know what? I'm a carpenter. I know how to break somebody's door. But because my uncle give me a regular income or my auntie give me regular income, let me continue looking for a job in the right way than going to do armed robbery at night. Because the same skill set can be used in the negative set.
Yes.
That's what. And Nigeria has got to a point where the people that have the negative mindset of using their skill set have gone to the point of power, control power, and are now making it a universal law. One thing I would like you to do at some point, if you have the time through the reading, if you're going to continue doing the reading, I need you to take time and go through the states and find out why the states were created. You begin to understand where the problem of Nigeria started. Because anything not created for the right reason will be used for the negative reasons. For example, if you want to do a constitution, when you start doing constitution is subject to referendum.
Yes.
Tell me any Nigerian constitution that is subject to referendum and tell me the impact of that constitution.
None.
The 1967 constitution was subject to referendum. Did you see how the regional system worked? It worked because the people were buying. Jonathan Obasanjo tried to do constitutional conference through third term. He wasn't made.
Jonathan decided to third term, so he just abolished or discontinued the content of that conference.
Jonathan came in, did the same thing.
Same.
Wanted to,
and he himself said until he comes back for the second term, he won't implement the content of it, and he never came back.
Thank you. Those begin to tell you that anything that has to do with the masses, they try to blackmail the masses. When it gets to something that has to do with masses, they'll give you a condition. If you don't re-elect me, I don't do what you need.
I'm not going to implement it.
While when it's something that concerns them, within minutes it get passed, like the national anthem.
That's it.
How many readings did he do? Did you see how they're dragging the tax law now? It's going to affect a lot of people in a positive way. Yeah, even though it's going to be manipulated, but it's going to begin to remove certain things in a way that you begin to know, okay, who is responsible for X, Y, Z. It's going to take them time because it affects the masses. But if it's to allocate money, like budget, party, 2 days is finished. Nobody bothered to check everything there. And that is why I say Obi can never be president. And I'm happy that Tinubu became president. Because he becoming a president shows the rot in the system, how bad it is. Before you are looking for others, I say, maybe it's just the police, or yeah, maybe just the police. He never get to the army, or he hasn't got to the navy, or now you are beginning to realize even your neighbor is part of it.
It's like a conglomeration.
If you even want to see the worst part, go to Nigeria, enter a local flight. When you're entering a local flight, dress nice. As you're entering the local flight, you will see somebody standing in front of the door telling your guy, find me something. You paid flight ticket, you paid for your baggage, but they will be by the door telling you, oh guy, you must find me something to enter. That's you're going to board. You're about to board. And that spelling can actually mess up your whole plan for the body.
System.
So it's a very, very bad place they are, but it's good that we see it, because I think in the years gone by, during Jonathan, them and other people were thinking, oh, the corruption is just ministers, it's just a few people, it's bad egg in ministerial appointments. Now you're beginning to see that it's a cultural thing. And like I said the other day, I said, you're beginning to see the names of the warlords that are controlling different sectors. Ekiti now we know is Afebanola. You go to Rivers, you have Wike. You come to Lagos, you have Tinubu dynasty. Very soon they will begin to name. You begin to see who and who control where.
Yes.
And by the time they finish making themselves known,
you go to Kaduna, you see Erufaya, you see all their crook. When you go to all these places, even Bauchi, you see Bukashuas and co. Everywhere.
Thank you. You need to know your enemy and you know how to attack them.
That's exactly.
That is what they are doing under Tinubu. They are bringing themselves out because they are showing that, okay, we've got to the top now. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah. And that's what I said from the beginning of this broadcast as well. Like, listen, Nigeria has problems. Nigeria have a lot of problems. But don't just say Nigeria have problems. We need to